The new intern, trying to save the company some money on electricity, pulled the plug on the servers I was responsible for. This intern, trying to make herself look good, basically lived at the office, always going on about cutting costs. And every single day after work, she'd walk around the building, shutting off every switch. Then one day, I had a critical model running on the servers, and suddenly, the power went out. The next morning, she walks in with the electric bill and goes straight to the boss to take credit. Hey, boss. Last night I went through the server room and shut down all those machines that were buzzing away. We're gonna save thousands on electricity this month. The boss praised her right then and there, said she was so responsible. Then he turned around and came to ask me, so is the model done running? Oh, it's done running all right. The whole company's about done running too. It all started that morning at 8:30 when I pushed open the door to the tech department and was hit with this wall of dead, eerie silence. The constant low hum from the server room that was always there was completely gone. There wasn't a trace of cool air from the AC, just this thick, suffocating heat and the smell of burnt electronics. My stomach dropped, and I knew right then something was very wrong. I picked up the pace immediately and rushed toward the main server room. The heavy anti-static glass door was sitting slightly ajar. Inside, all three main servers, every single indicator light was dark. The UPS backup power alarm was going absolutely crazy, red lights flashing nonstop. I spun toward the open office area and shouted at the top of my lungs, who touched the power in the server room? A few developers who just clocked in just stared at each other, frozen. Not one of them said a word. I went in to check it out and found that the protective cover on the server room's main breaker smashed right off. Someone had flipped the main circuit breaker all the way down. I knew exactly what that meant. I felt it in my gut. Next week, the company was set to ring the bell on the NASDAQ. The core AI data model we needed for the IPO roadshow had been running nonstop for 21 days straight. Under that kind of load, if the power cuts out mid-run, everything in active memory gets wiped clean. And the drive arrays, there's a very real chance of physical damage. 3 months of work from our entire team gone. Just like that. My hands were shaking as I reached over and hit the restart button on the server. Nothing. The screen didn't react at all. Just black. The server's operating system had completely crashed. Lee, our lead engineer, came stumbling into the server room. He stared at the dark monitor and just froze, like the air got knocked out of him. Director Lin, the motherboard's fried. The backup nodes are all down too. Pull up the security footage. I said it through clenched teeth. Barely got the words out. The moment the footage came up on screen, my blood pressure shot through the roof. Timestamp 1 a.m. last night. So Qian, the new intern, walked into the tech department in her slippers, flashlight in hand. She wandered around the office, looking around, poking at things, just drifting. When she got to the server room door, she muttered something at it. Looked like a complaint. Then she disappeared for a second and came back with a fire safety hammer. One swing. She smashed straight through the plastic cover on the main breaker box. And then, cool as you please, she pulled it down and shut off every breaker in the server room, right there on the security footage. After he did all of that, he turned straight to the camera and threw up a peace sign. It was Su Qian when old Lee said her name. His voice was shaking. Has she lost her mind? The words had barely left his mouth when we heard it behind us. The sharp click of high heels on the floor. Su Qian walked in, strolling through the door with a Starbucks in her hand. She had on a full designer outfit, makeup done to perfection. She saw all of us, crowded around the security monitor, and she didn't look guilty for even a second. If anything, she stood up straighter. Hey, Lynn, what's everybody huddled around in here for? I turned around and locked eyes with her. Last night, you shut off the breakers in the server room. Su Qian reached up and casually brushed her hair back. Yeah, I was saving the company some electricity. Her tone was so breezy, so light. And underneath it all, she almost sounded proud of herself. I stayed late last night, and your whole tech department had every light blazing. All those big metal cabinets just humming away nonstop. It was so loud, and the AC was cranked up like a meat locker. Such a waste of power. By the time she finished talking, my head was spinning. You just casually... do you have any idea what was running in there? That's the core model for the company's entire IPO. Do you have any idea that a server absolutely cannot lose power? Su Qian just rolled her eyes. Right there on the spot. Geez, Lynn, why are you being so intense? What model? What are you even talking about? When you're done with a computer, you turn it off. Isn't that just common sense? I was saving the company money. The boss keeps saying we need to cut costs and boost efficiency. You people in IT just... Not only did he show zero remorse, he actually got in my face and chewed me out in front of everyone. You're running one beat-up computer all night? You think it's gonna print money? Old Lee next to me was so furious. He was shaking head to toe. That's an enterprise-grade server. One unexpected power cut, and the hard drives are toast. All our data, gone. Su Qian listened to the whole thing, then curled her lip like it was nothing. So just redo it. Besides, you guys spend half your work goofing off at your desks anyway. Writing a few extra lines of code isn't gonna kill you. That dismissive little attitude of hers set the entire IT department on fire. A couple of the guys balled up their fists right then and there, ready to step up. Su Qian got spooked and immediately took a step back. What do you think you're doing? I was trying to help. I'm going straight to the boss about this. She spun around and click-clacked off, in her heels toward the CEO's office. I turned around and stared at the server. Now nothing but a pile of scrap metal, and couldn't help letting out a cold laugh. Trying to help. Well, let's see if your little good deed can cover $1 billion. Breach of contract penalty. Laughter was spilling out of Chen Gang's office. When I pushed the door open and walked in, Su Chen was slamming a stack of invoices down hard on his desk. Mr. Chen, take a look at this. Last month, the IT department's electricity bill hit 80,000 million. All because of them. Never shuts down their computers when they leave. Those big machines humming away. They're total energy hogs. I was doing a walkthrough for the company last night, so I went ahead and shut all those power-sucking things off. Chen Gang looked down and flipped through the electricity bill in his hand, a big smile spreading across his face. Now that's what I call a team player, Chen. Times are tough out there. We need more employees like you who treat this place like their own home. Saving energy is just good habits. Su Chen finished talking and shot me a smug sideways glance. Unlike certain executives, who don't think twice about spending the company's money, I shut down their computers for them. And Director Lin actually showed up with people ready to jump me. Chen Gang listened, and his expression dropped instantly. He picked up the electricity bill and slammed it hard on the desk. Lin Wan, what is wrong with you? You're a senior employee, and you're out here bullying the new girl? I walked up to his desk and dropped the damage assessment report right in front of Chen Gang. Mr. Chen, Su Chen pulled the power last night, and it caused Sanhee's main server hard drives to physically crash. The core data for next week's IPO roadshow, every single model, it's all gone. Chen Gang heard that and just froze for a second. What do you mean? I looked at this boss who had absolutely zero technical knowledge and had to take a deep breath and spell it out for him. It means the roadshow is dead in the water. The model demo the investors are expecting, we can't deliver it. If we don't have something ready by next week, we're on the hook for $1 billion penalty to the lead investor. Chen Gang shot straight up out of his chair. His chubby face flickered with a flash of panic, but he quickly shifted his gaze over to Su Chen. Su Chen didn't look rattled at all. She stepped forward and slipped her arm through Chen Gang's. Mr. Chen, he's just trying to scare you. All I did was flip a breaker. It's not that serious. I yanked the power cord on my laptop all the time and nothing breaks. I bet it's the IT guys who've been slacking on maintenance, or they lost the data themselves and are trying to pin it on me. When Chen Gang heard that, his furrowed brow actually smoothed right out. He immediately jabbed his finger in my face and exploded. Lin Wan, that's a pretty pathetic excuse. A few computers shut down and they just break? What are they made of? Paper? You think the money we spent on this equipment was fake? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Mr. Chen, a server is not a personal computer. When you force a shutdown under that kind of heavy read-write load, the read head can physically scratch the disk. That's irreversible damage. Chen Gang waved his hand impatiently. Don't try to baffle me with all that technical mumbo-jumbo. If it's broken, get it fixed. Just have someone pull the data out. Done. Some guy on the street corner can handle it for $50. Why are you making such a big deal out of this? When I heard that, I was so furious I actually laughed. That's an enterprise-grade SSD array. Go ahead, find your $50 street corner guy and see what happens. Su Chen chimed in from the side with that snide little comment. Miss Lin is clearly targeting me. Sir, if you ask me, she just doesn't want this roadshow to go smoothly. She's using this whole thing as an excuse to make trouble for the company. I mean, she asked for a raise and you turned her down. She's been holding a grudge ever since. Chen Gang's expression shifts instantly. His face goes dark as a storm cloud. Lin Wan, are you seriously this unhappy here? Sabotaging us on purpose? I'm warning you. You better fix that, model, or whatever the hell it is. And if you tank next week's roadshow, I will make your life a living hell. I take a slow, deep breath and push down the anger rising inside me. Sir, I'll say it one more time. The data is gone. It can't be recovered. The only way forward is to run the model from scratch. And that takes exactly 32 days. Chen Gang listens, then slams his hand down hard on the desk. Tea splashes out of the cup and soaks the floor. 32 days? The roadshow is next Tuesday. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Right on cue, Su Chen chimes in and starts pouring fuel on the fire. Seriously, Miss Lin, it's just rerunning the model. Can't you guys just put in some extra hours? And if that's not enough, skip the weekend. Take one for the team. Is that really so hard? Every single word out of her mouth is pushing me right to the edge. I fix her with a cold stare. What do you think this is? Trò chơi nào đó mà mày chỉ việc mà tự động vào tiệm net. Running an AI large language model takes massive computing power, even if every single one of us sat there staring at the screen without eating or sleeping. The machine processes at a fixed rate. That's 21 days worth of computation. How are you supposed to fix months of damage in a single day? Chen Gang clearly wasn't absorbing any of this technical stuff. All he cared about was his upcoming IPO roadshow. I don't care how you do it. Just get it done before Monday. And another thing, apologize to Qian. I just stood there, frozen. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I'm supposed to apologize to her? Chen Gang nodded like it was the most obvious thing in the world. Chen was trying to save the company money. Her heart was in the right place. But you, on the other hand, Chen Gang started turning it all around on me. You're the director of technology. You knew a power cut could damage the equipment? So why didn't you have proper surge protection in place? Why doesn't that server room have a backup power system? That's a serious failure on your part. When he finished talking, I was completely speechless. Mr. Chen, that server room has 3 separate UPS backup systems. But last night, Su Chen didn't just cut the main breaker. She also grabbed a pair of scissors and cut the output cables on every single UPS unit. She said the black boxes had red lights blinking on them, and it was bothering her. Chen Gang went quiet for a second, glanced over at Su Chen. Su Chen shrank back, guilty as hell, not saying a word. I thought they were some kind of power-stealing devices. Chen Gang cleared his throat a couple times and somehow managed to spin it again. Even so, why didn't you put a fingerprint lock on that server room? Why wasn't there even a passcode on the door? Anyone could just walk right in. What kind of security are you running? I almost burst out laughing at how absolutely insane this logic was. Mr. Chen, that server room does have a fingerprint lock. It was you who stood up at last week's company-wide morning meeting and said, to show everyone how open and inclusive our company culture is housed. No department is allowed to lock their doors. Now even the cleaning crew can waltz right into the tech department. Chen Gang just stood there, completely speechless. His chubby face turned beet red. And that's when the company's VP, Wang Tao, pushed the door open and walked in. He's Chen Gang's brother-in-law. And the biggest kiss ass in the building, always sucking up to whoever's on top. One look at the room and he knew exactly what was going on. He figured it out instantly. Hey, what's going on, Chen? You doing okay? Why all the fireworks? Chen Gang grabbed onto him like a lifeline and immediately ran through the whole story from start to finish. Wang Tao listened, then turned to me with his nose in the air, all puffed up and full of himself. Director Lin, I think you're out of line here. Chen's just an intern. What does she even know? Don't take it so personally. If she made a mistake, just walk her through it. You can't go around blaming your own screw-ups on some young girl. The second Su Qian heard someone had her back, the waterworks turned on instantly. Mr. Wang, I knew you'd be fair about this. Sister Lin has never liked me. One time she told me to take out the trash. And I said I was in the middle of something and couldn't do it right then. And she's had it out for me ever since. And now today she's saying I broke some model and wants to fire me. I stood there, stone-faced. These three put on their little act right in front of me. It was absolutely unreal. Some idiot who just torched a company project was somehow being spun into a scrappy little cost-cutter who saves the day. And me, the one who pulled 3 straight months of all-nighters for this company. Somehow I'm the villain. Public enemy number 1. Wang Tao gave Su Qian a pat on the shoulder and said something to calm her down. Don't worry, the company's got your back. Then he turned and looked straight at me, and his tone went cold fast. Lin Wan, I'm making the call on this one. You're responsible for recovering that data, and the entire tech department is getting their bonuses cut in half this month to compensate Qian for the emotional distress. On top of that, starting now, every single day before you leave, you personally check the server room and make sure everything's powered down. I stared at Wang Tao, that smug, greasy face of his, and I was absolutely furious. You're docking the whole tech team's pay to hand this idiot an emotional distress check? Wang Tao's eyes went wide and he blew up right there. He completely lost it. Who do you think you're talking to? You think company policy is just a suggestion? Chen Gang was right there too, jumping in immediately to back him up. That's final. Lin Wan, you've been way too emotional lately. You need to seriously check yourself. And if you screw up this model rollout, don't bother coming back. They thought they had me cornered. Because in their minds, this company was the best launchpad in the industry. They were convinced there was no way I'd ever walk away from that VP of Tech title. And when they finished, I just laughed. A big, genuine smile. I didn't argue, not one word. I turned around and walked straight out of the CEO's office. I headed back to the tech department, and old Lee and a few of my colleagues rushed over the second they saw me. Director Lin, what did the boss say? The security footage is crystal clear. That's gotta be all on Su Qian, right? I slowly shook my head. He says it's on us. 老板说是我们的责任. Not only do they want us to redo the whole model by Monday, they're also docking half of everyone's performance bonus. and handing it to Su Qian as emotional damages. I finished talking. The second the words left my mouth, the entire tech department exploded. On what grounds? Are they out of their minds? We pulled 3 all-nighters to hit that deadline. Why the hell are they docking our pay? That woman smashed the equipment. And now we're supposed to apologize to her? Old Lee grabbed the coffee cup right out of his hand and slammed it hard into the trash can. Screw this. I'm done. Whoever wants this job can have it. I looked out at my team, everyone fired up and furious, and raised my hand, signaling everyone to settle down. I know you've all been treated unfairly. I'll make this right. I promise. I said my piece, turned around, and walked into my office. I opened up my work computer, sat down at my desk, and started typing fast. 20 minutes later, I printed out a resignation letter, along with a 5-page liability disclaimer. The disclaimer laid out in detail exactly what happened to the equipment last night, complete with full security footage, screenshots, and an equipment damage assessment report. The most important part read, I, Lin Wan, formally notified the company that the model could not be delivered on time and outlined the real risk of breach of contract due to management's insistence on placing all blame on the tech department and their refusal to hold the responsible party accountable. I'm left with no choice but to resign. Any and all breach of contract penalties going forward have nothing to do with me or the tech team. I picked up both documents and walked back to Chen Gang's office. I shoved the door open. Su Qian was sitting on the couch, eating the cherries Wang Tao had bought her. Chen Gang's on the phone, booking a hotel for the victory party. He hears me push the door open and hangs up right away, giving me this look like I just ruined his day. Lin Wan, what the hell do you want now? Get back to fixing that computer. Move it. I slam my resignation letter and the liability waiver down hard on his desk. I'm done. I quit. Chen Gang looks down at the resignation letter and lets out this smug little laugh. Pure contempt on his face. Lin Wan, don't pull that crap with me. You think threatening me with your resignation means anything? You think this company falls apart without you? Let me tell you something. You want to walk? Fine. Sign the liability waiver first, then walk. I reach over and tap the document on the desk. Take a good look. I already signed it. Now I need your signature to make it official. Chen Gang picks up the waiver and skims through it. When he hits the 1 billion penalty clause, his eyebrow twitches. But then he keeps reading. And the clauses after that actually make him laugh. Liability waiver? It says right here, due to management's faulty decision-making causing the breach of contract, you bear zero responsibility? Yeah, keep dreaming, sweetheart. I plant both hands on the desk and lean right into his face. Chen Gang, I get it. You don't know the first thing about the law. But you better have your company's legal team take a hard look at this document. Su Chen destroyed that equipment with her own hands. And the call to go after me? That was your decision. I've already backed up the original security footage and sent it to every single shareholder's inbox. So if you don't sign this right now, I'm walking straight to the labor board and reporting you for coercion, taking on massive losses way outside my job description when the time comes. The whole industry's gonna know exactly what kind of clown show your company is. Chen Gang's face went dead pale in an instant. Wang Tao jumped in from the side to back him up. Who are you trying to scare? It's just a stupid model. Qian just said, she's got a senior from school who does AI work. He could rewrite the whole thing in a day. Su Qian immediately for her with a proud little smirk. That's right. My guy's a programmer at a top tech company. As long as Mr. Chen's willing to pay, there's no code too complicated for him. Chen Gang glanced over at Su Qian and visibly relaxed. He grabbed the pen off the desk right away, scribbled fast, and signed his name on the liability waiver. Just like that. Then he snatched at my resignation letter and threw it right back at me. Get out. This company's going public with or without you. Tomorrow, I'm promoting Qian to deputy director of the tech department, and her guy's taking over your job. I carefully folded up that signed liability waiver and slipped it into a clear plastic sleeve. All right then, Chen Gang. Good luck with your roadshow next week. I really hope Su Qian's guy can pull your AI's core data out of thin air. I turned and walked out of the CEO's office, headed back to the tech department, and started packing up my personal stuff. Old Lee saw me loading things into a box and just froze. Director Lin, you're really leaving? I gave him a slow nod. You all better start figuring out your next move. This company is done. Right then, a commotion broke out at the entrance to the tech department. Su Qian strutted in like she owned the place, with a bunch of building security guards trailing behind her. She got right in my face and started screaming. Lin Wan, you're fired. Get out of this building. Right now. And don't you dare take any company files or code with you. The security guards stepped forward, eyeing me like wolves. I grabbed my keyboard and tossed it into the cardboard box. Fired? Please. I quit. Su Qianqian let out a sharp, cold laugh. Doesn't matter? Either way, you're just some loser getting kicked to the curb. She walked up to my desk, reached out, and picked up my Marvel figurine. I'm keeping this. Call it payback for the trouble you caused me. I stepped forward, grabbed her wrist, and twisted it hard. Ow! Let go! Su Qianqian shrieked in pain. I stared coldly at her, face twisted in agony. That's my personal property. Touch it again, and I'll break that hand off. I shoved her away hard. She stumbled back a few steps and slammed right into the edge of a desk. The security guards moved to step in, but old Lee and a few of the guys blocked them on the spot. Hey, back off! You want to start something? The guards froze and didn't dare move another inch. I picked up my box of stuff and walked out without looking back. Behind me, I could hear Su Qianqian screaming curses at me. What are you so smug about? Your reputation in this industry is completely trashed. Nobody's gonna hire someone like you, a troublemaker who blows everything up. You'll be out on the street begging for change. I didn't even bother responding to his ranting. I didn't miss a single step. I walked straight out of the building. The sunlight outside was blinding. It hit my eyes like a slap. I pulled out my personal phone and dialed a number I'd had saved for a long time, but never once called. It barely rang once before someone picked up. Lin Wan, hey. It was a deep male voice, and I could hear the surprise in it. Mr. Zhao. That director of technology position you mentioned, is it still open? A big, easy laugh came through from the other end of the line. I knew it. Chen Gang. That stupid pig. No way he could hold on to you. The position's been yours this whole time. $8 million a year. Plus 2% equity. When can you start? I turned and took one last look at the office tower behind me. Right now. Mr. Zhao was the CEO of Zhao Group, a giant in the industry. He was our old company's biggest competitor. Chen Gong had always treated Zhao Group like his sworn enemy. His whole dream was to use this IPO to crush Zhao's tech company. Too bad he'd just handed the sharpest knife straight to someone else. Half an hour later, a black Maybach pulled up and stopped right in front of me. Mr. Zhao's personal assistant got out and helped me load my box into the trunk. Miss Lin, Mr. Zhao is waiting for you at the office. I ducked down and got in. Watching the streets blur past the car window, I pulled out my phone and left every single workgroup chat from my old company. Then I blocked Chen Gong's and Wang Tao's numbers while I was at it. Getting onboarded at Yunhai Tech went surprisingly fast. Mr. Zhao even took me on a personal tour of their new server room. So I heard things went sideways at your old company. Mr. Zhao handed me a fresh ground coffee, a hint of amusement flickering in his eyes. I took the cup and had a slow sip. Chen Gang's new favorite ran us off, then pulled the plug on 21 days worth of model servers. Mr. Zhao listened and nearly spit his coffee across the room. Pulled the plug? Those are enterprise-grade servers. What did you think they were? Desk fans? I just shrugged, helpless. Apparently, they were too loud and wasting electricity. Mr. Zhao heard that and burst out laughing right then and there. His laughter echoed through the empty server room, bouncing off every wall. What on earth did Chen Gang do to deserve this? How did he end up with a loose cannon like that? But hey, for me, this is the best news I could have asked for. If their pitch falls apart next week, that $1 billion penalty clause is gonna wipe Chen Gang out completely. I set my coffee cup down. And that's not even the worst of it. Once the investors see how reckless their management is, they'll pull out immediately, no question. Mr. Zhao's smile faded. His expression turned dead serious. Lin Wan, this is our moment. Yunhai needs to move first. The technical framework you brought over, we need to fold it into our system before next week. Hit Chen Gang where it hurts. I gave him a firm nod. Over the next 3 days, I led the team at Yunhai Tech. We went into full lockdown mode, completely cut off from the outside world. It wasn't until Friday night that I finally turned my personal phone back on. The screen lit up instantly. Over 100 missed calls, the vast majority of them were from Lee. Plus a few numbers I didn't recognize. I called Lee back right away. Hey, Lee. His voice came through the line, tight with panic. It's bad, real bad. The background noise on his end was insane. Sounded like he was in the middle of a street market. After you left, that senior contact of Su Qianqian's actually showed up. And get this. He took one look at the burned-out hard drive and just told Chen Gong to take it to some data recovery shop in the tech district. The guys there said the disk was shattered. Totally beyond saving. So then this so-called senior starts putting on a big show, pretending to rewrite the code. 3 days in, He couldn't even get a basic framework off the ground. The guy's nothing but a front-end freelancer who can slap together simple web pages. He doesn't know the first thing about AI models. I let out a cold laugh the second he finished. So how's Chen Gang taking it? On the other end of the line, Lee let out a long, heavy sigh. Chen Gang's losing it. The investors are breathing down his neck. They want the weekly pitch deck and a live demo. He's got nothing to show them. Just a little while ago, he went off on everyone at the office, beat the hell out of that senior guy, and now he's tearing the whole city apart looking for you. He wasn't even done talking when a new call came through, cutting right in. The name on the screen, Chen Gang. I laughed, cold and quiet, and hung up on Lee. She picked up the call from Chen Gang. Hello? From the other end of the line came Chen Gang's voice, absolutely furious. Lin Wan, where the hell have you been? Get your ass back to the office right now. I need that model finished. This guy, even now, still talking like he owns the whole damn world. Mr. Chen, did you forget? I already quit. Quit my ass. It's not official until I approve it. The company's in trouble right now. And you're trying to bail on me? Let me tell you something. If this roadshow tanks next week, I'll sue you for misappropriation. You walked out with our core technology. I put him on speaker and just kept on typing. Cool as you please. Go ahead and sue. Either way, you've only got this weekend left to throw your weight around. And over the next 2 days, Yoon High Tech successfully pulled off a whole new round of tech upgrades. The development speed was even faster than I expected. Monday morning, the day Chen Gang's company had booked a 5-star hotel ballroom for their IPO roadshow. Zhao and I were invited too, but we showed up as the lead investor's special tech advisors. When we pushed open the ballroom doors, the vibe in the room had already gone completely sideways. The big LED screen on stage was totally dark. Chen Gang stood up there sweating bullets, gripping a microphone for dear life, stammering his way through an explanation to the dozens of investors in the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, our tech demo portion of the event has hit a small technical hiccup. Everyone, please help yourselves to some water. Wang Tao was pacing frantically down below the stage, phone in hand, dialing like crazy. Su Qianjian had tucked herself into a corner, too scared to even lift her head. That whole image she'd built, the humble, frugal girl, had completely fallen apart. Zhang, the lead investor, stood up with a dark look on his face. Mr. Chen, we flew a long way to get here. Not to sit around drinking tap water. Where's the core AI demo you promised us? If the data isn't running, there's no way we're signing any IPO agreement today. Not a chance. Chen Gang swallowed hard, visibly rattled. Mr. Zhang, please, just hear me out. We had a traitor inside the company. Our former tech director, Lin Wan, she was unhappy with the company, so she wiped all the data and walked out. We've already filed a police report. We'll get it back soon. The moment I heard him twist the whole story like that, I couldn't help myself. I started clapping right there in the doorway. The sharp sound of applause cut through the silence of the banquet hall like a knife. Every single head in the room snapped in my direction. Chen Gang spotted me, and his face lit up like I was his lifeline. He bolted off the stage and pointed straight at me, shouting, "Hand over the data right now." Ladies and gentlemen, this is the saboteur. She's the one who did this. I ignored his little meltdown completely and walked straight up to Mr. Zhang. I pulled a document out of my bag and said, "Mr. Zhang, allow me to introduce myself. I'm with the Zhao Group. Lin Wan, Chief Technology Officer. Mr. Chen just accused me of maliciously deleting data. That's a very serious defamation claim." The second I finished speaking, the entire room erupted, and Chen Gang's face went dead white. You. What did you just say? You went to the Zhao Group? I turned around and looked at that ridiculous face of his. That's right. Mr. Chen, surely you haven't forgotten. Last Tuesday, you personally forced me to resign. You signed the termination papers yourself. I've made copies of the liability waiver and handed them out to every investor in this room. Feel free to take a look. The reason Chen's company lost all that data is because a brand new intern, Su Qianqian, decided to save a few $100 on the electric bill by smashing open the server room's main breaker with a fire axe. She killed the power, just like that. And it caused catastrophic physical damage to enterprise-grade servers worth millions. And what did Mr. Chen and VP Wang do? They didn't hold the person responsible accountable. Instead, they docked the entire tech department, half their performance bonuses, as emotional compensation for the intern. The moment I finished speaking, the whole banquet hall erupted. Investors leaned in, whispering to each other, buzzing with disbelief. The looks they were shooting at Chen Gang like they were staring at a complete idiot. Mr. Zhang finished reading the waiver in his hands and slammed it down hard on the table in front of him. Absurd. This is absolutely laughable. Chen Gang, is this how you run your company? You handed a multi-billion-dollar project to someone who can't even tell the difference between a power switch and a server? Chen Gang's knees buckled when he heard that. He nearly hit the floor right then and there. He was waving his hands like crazy, desperately trying to explain himself. Mr. Zhang, that's not what happened. Lin Wan is blowing this way out of proportion. It was just a minor incident. Mr. Zhang heard that and let out a cold laugh right then and there. Minor setback. So why is it that today you can't deliver the data? What's your backup plan? Chen Gang was completely speechless. He couldn't say a single word. Zhang stood up and buttoned his jacket. There's no point in continuing this pitch. Mr. Chen, per the terms of the performance agreement we signed, since your team has failed to deliver the core technology on time, you'd better get ready to pay a $100 million penalty. Our legal team will have a formal notice at your office tomorrow. With that, Zhang turned to leave, with all the investors right behind him, doubled under his head. Chen Gang completely fell apart. He lunged forward and grabbed Zhang by the leg, holding on for dear life. Mr. Zhang, just give me a few more days. I swear I can make this work. Zhang kicked him off hard. Get off me. People who treat business like a joke don't deserve a dime of our money. Every single investor walked out. Not one stayed behind. The whole ballroom was empty, except for Chen Gang's people and me and Mr. Zhao. Chen Gang collapsed on the floor, staring at nothing, pale as a ghost. Then suddenly, he spotted Su Qianqian hiding in the corner. Chen Gang's eyes went bloodshot in an instant. Like a wild animal, he charged at her, grabbed her by the hair, and dragged her into the middle of the room. This is all your fault, you little witch. Save power? I'll show you save power. Chen Gang raised his hand to strike. Chen Gang lun qi ba zhang. Hard slaps landing across Su Qianqian's perfectly made-up face. The sharp crack of each hit, ringing out one after another, the sound echoing loud and clear through the empty hall. Su Qianqian screamed with every blow, sobbing and wailing without stop. A thin line of blood trickled from the corner of her mouth down her cheek. Mr. Chen, please, stop. I can't take it anymore. Wang Tao stood frozen off to the side, too scared to even breathe, let alone step in. Chen Gang kept hitting her, cursing at the top of his lungs. $1 billion? You stupid idiot. You yanked one plug and wiped out $1 billion? Are you serious? How the hell are you going to pay that back? Su Qianqian clutched her swollen face, tears streaming down as she pointed straight at me. It's her. It's Lin Wan. She didn't lock the door. Lin Wan didn't protect the equipment. Mr. Chen, she's the one you should be hitting. Even now, at rock bottom, this woman still couldn't stop trying to pin it on me. I stood a short distance away, watching this whole mess play out. Two dogs tearing each other apart. Su Qianqian, do you still not get what's happening here? I said it cold and flat, cutting right through the chaos. The server room being left unlocked? That was Chen Gang's own order. The main breaker has a safety cover on it for a reason. So when you grabbed that fire axe and smashed it open, what exactly was going through your head? Did you think it was some treasure chest in a video game? Su Qianqian's eyes darted all over the place. She couldn't look at me. I just thought that red light was annoying, okay? And you people in the tech department always act like you're so much better than everyone else. I just wanted to take you down a notch. And there it was, the truth, finally out in the open. It had nothing to do with saving power. That woman did this purely out of spite, pure revenge. She thought pulling the plug would just reboot the system, make us rewrite a few lines of code, so she could show off how she's the boss's favorite, how she's got power over us. But that walnut-sized brain of hers couldn't even begin to grasp how fragile enterprise-level data really is. Chen Gang heard every word. He was shaking, trembling with rage. Revenge? You blew up my company just to protect your pathetic little ego. You just cost me everything. Chen Gang raised his foot and kicked Su Qianqian hard in the stomach. Su Qianqian let out a scream, a blood-curdling shriek, and crumpled to the floor, writhing in pain. Wang Tao finally couldn't take it anymore. He stepped in and grabbed Chen Gang. Come on, bro-in-law, stop. That's enough. You're gonna kill her! Chen Gang shoved Wang Tao off. You're no better, you know that? Always sniffing around that two-faced snake. The company's done. It's over. We're all finished. Chen Gang spun around, his eyes bloodshot, locked dead on me. Then, just like that, his whole demeanor shifted. He dropped to his knees right in front of me, hit the carpet so hard, he slid a good 2 feet. Lin Wan, Ms. Lin, please, I'm begging you. Save the company. You can get the data back. I know you can. Right? Tell me you can. I'll give you a raise. Stock options, whatever you want. Triple bonuses for the entire tech team. Looking at this man, The same boss who used to treat me like I was nothing, now on his hands and knees, groveling at my feet. I didn't feel a single drop of pity. Chen Gang. That hard drive's been physically destroyed. The platters are shattered. God himself couldn't recover that data. Chen Gang wasn't ready to give up. He grabbed onto my pant leg with both hands. Then help me rebuild it. Put together a team, work around the clock. I'll give you a month. No, 2 weeks. Whatever it costs, I'll pay it. I kicked his hand away, hard, and brushed the dust off my pants. Sorry, Mr. Chen. I work for the Zhao Group now. And even if I wanted to help you, you couldn't afford me. I reached into my bag and pulled out a document, the one Mr. Zhao had handed me outside just a few minutes ago and told me to give to Chen Gong. What is this? Chen Gong's hands were shaking as he took it from me. A letter of acquisition intent. I kept my voice completely calm as I read him his death sentence. The Zhao Group is no longer interested in your company's core tech assets. But we are very interested in a few of your distribution channels when you file for bankruptcy next week. The Zhao Group is prepared to make a bulk offer. $10 million for everything that's left. That won't even cover the interest on that $1 billion penalty. The second those words hit him, Chen Gang's eyes rolled back in his head, and he went down flat on his back. Wang Tao panicked and rushed over, pressing hard on his upper lip, trying to bring him around. The whole room erupted into chaos. I turned and walked out of the banquet hall. CEO Zhao was already outside, waiting for me. Feel good about that? He said it with a smile and handed me a bottle of water. I twisted off the cap and took a sip. Honestly, a little disappointed. An opponent at that level, there's just no satisfaction in it. CEO Zhao listened and let out a small laugh. That's just how business works. Sometimes what takes you down isn't a powerful enemy. It's some idiot who pulls the plug. 1 week later, Chen Gang's company officially declared bankruptcy, a $1 billion breach of contract penalty. On top of all the unpaid supplier debts, completely wiped Chen Gang out. Every property and car in his name was seized and auctioned off by the court. Wang Tao, as a co-liable party, didn't escape it either. And the one who started it all, that so-called energy-saving genius, Su Chen, had finally hit rock bottom. The bankruptcy liquidation meeting was held in a mediation room at the courthouse. Since the Zhao Group was the acquiring party, I attended as the company's representative and sat in on the whole thing. The atmosphere in that conference room was suffocating. Chen Gang looked like he'd aged 10 years overnight. His hair had gone half white. He was wearing an old, pilling suit with this blank, hollow look in his eyes. Wang Tao sat beside him, sighing over and over. When Su Chen walked in, every single pair of eyes in that room cut into her like a knife. Gone was that polished, put-together look she always had. Her hair was a mess. Her eyes were sunken. And there were bruises on her face that hadn't fully faded. She timidly found the seat farthest east from everyone and sat down. When the meeting got to the accountability portion, Chen Gang's lawyer presented all the surveillance footage and the liability waiver, and filed a motion with the court to have Su Chen listed as a primary liable party for gross negligence and required to cover a portion of the direct financial losses resulting from the unauthorized actions. I don't have any money. The moment Su Chen heard she had to pay, she just lost it, screaming right there in the courtroom. I'm just an intern. I make $4,000 a month. What gives you the right to make me pay for this? Chen Gang slammed his fist on the table and shot to his feet. You little piece of trash. When you yanked that plug out, did you even stop to think about what would happen? I've lost everything because of you. Don't think for 1 second you're walking away from this. Su Chen turned to the judge, sobbing, Your Honor, I don't know anything about this technical stuff. I was just trying to save the company some electricity. Lin Wan set me up. She's the one who left the door unlocked. She never stopped me. Even now, after all of this, she was still trying to pin the whole thing on me. I sat at the acquiring party's table and watched the whole show with cold eyes. The judge rapped the gavel to bring the room back to order. Defendant Su Chen, based on the security footage, you deliberately broke the lock on the electrical panel. That constitutes intentional destruction of company property. While you may lack technical expertise, your clear intent to cause harm and your actions constitute tortious conduct. In the end, the court didn't hold her liable for the full $1 billion penalty. She simply didn't have the means to pay but it did order her to cover the hardware damage, emergency data recovery costs, and other direct losses, totaling $3.2 million for a fresh-out-of-school intern who'd blown everything on designer labels. Just to look the part. That number might as well have been the national debt. After the hearing wrapped up, Su Chen cornered me right outside the courthouse. She dropped, straight down on her knees right in front of me, arms locked around my legs, holding on for dear life. Lin, Miss Lin, I was wrong, okay? Please, you have to help me. You're a senior executive at Zhao Corp now. You've got money. Just lend me like $3 million. I'll spend the rest of my life paying you back, I swear. I looked down at that tear-streaked, mascara-ruined face and felt nothing but pure disgust. Let go. My voice was ice cold. Lynn, if you don't help me, I'll die. I still need to get married. I can't start a new life buried in debt. And on top of that, I've been blacklisted across the whole industry. No HR department will touch me. I can't even get hired as a receptionist. I let out a sharp laugh right then and there. Someone who grabbed a fire axe and smashed the main breaker at her own company. What business in their right mind would hire you? You think they want to risk you tearing their whole building apart? I yanked my leg free, and she lost her balance, went down hard on the steps. Go ask that big shot senior of yours for the money, or hit up all those relatives who spent years telling everyone how smart and mature you were. I looked down at her on the ground. You always thought you were so clever, didn't you? Well, spend the next 50 years paying for it. Call it tuition for being an idiot. I turned and walked toward the car waiting at the curb. Old Lee was standing by the door. He's now the deputy director of the tech division at Zhao Corp, the whole original tech team. I brought every single one of them over with me. Everyone's salary has doubled since the old days, and the server room's been upgraded with the highest level security system money can buy. God, that felt good, Ms. Lin. Old Lee watched Su Chen collapse on the ground, sobbing, and spat in her direction. I ducked into the car and settled into my seat, glancing out the window at that crowd, every last one of them paying the price for their own stupidity. And finally, I let myself smile. Let's go. We've got a product launch next week. Don't waste another second on trash. The car pulled away, leaving all that ridiculous drama far behind in the dust. After that, Su Qianqian's name became a joke in the industry. Word was she ended up hustling bottle service at a nightclub just to pay off her debts and got caught stealing from customers. Someone broke her legs for it. As for Chen Gang and Wang Tao, they were drowning in debt they'd never pay back, dodging creditors, running from everyone. Meanwhile, I led my team at the Zhao Group and successfully launched the next generation AI model. My net worth skyrocketed. I'd finally achieved real financial freedom. The business world isn't a game. Ignorance and arrogance will always hit hard, cost you hard. I just watched them, cool and detached, walking step by step into the grave they dug for themselves.